When it comes to helping our neighbours in the developing world, Australians aren't necessarily as generous as they think they are. Tax Office figures reveal that a third of all Australian taxpayers make donations to charity at an average of $633 each year. But the total amount they gave fell 7% last year, shrinking from $3.1 to $2.9 billion. And 60,000 fewer Australians made any donation at all last year. When it comes to government aid to the developing world, Australia's slipping down the rankings of the world's most generous nations, falling from 13th to 20th in the past 2 decades. But here's a story of a group of Australian school children determined to reverse that trend. They were touched by the tales of hardship that emerged from Nepal's earthquake in 2015. So, instead of just fundraising for a remote Himalayan village, they decided to fly there themselves and rebuild classrooms. As Craig Allen reports from Western Nepal, the benefits went far beyond the bricks and mortar.
Welcome to the heart of the Himalayas. This is Banatok village in Western Nepal. Despite its inspiring location, you won't find it on the tourist maps, and it struggles with the basics of sanitation, healthcare and education. In Banatok, kids as young as 5 walk up to 3 hours to and from school. Few can afford to bring lunch, and some of their classrooms were badly damaged in the 2015 earthquake. Now, help has come from an unlikely source: school kids from half a world away. From a life of Western luxury, these Canberra Grammar students have given up their vacations, digging in to make a difference. Over the last 2 years, the Australian charity Reach for Nepal has brought school groups here to rebuild shattered buildings and add new classrooms.
To see all students and staff work, and work really hard, has been sensational. The hard work put in by the students over the 4 days has been very inspirational and most talked about amongst the students here.
For the visitors, it's tough work well out of their normal comfort zone.
Coming into this trip, it's really easy to get caught up in the conditions that these kids live in. Like the fact that they don't eat for most of the day when they come to school. They don't have access to clean running water.
But it's an eye-opening cultural exchange.
Most of the girls will only go to grade 8, and even in the last year they had one girl unable to finish her final exams because she was already pregnant.
Charity co-founder Lachhu Thapa had carved out a successful business in Canberra until the hills of the Himalaya called him home. Now he's welcomed like a local hero.
Having businesses and being successful at them in Australia gave me strength. So now I can volunteer my time to Reach for Nepal.
Most Australians come to Nepal to trek in the Himalayas. Few of them get this far off the beaten track. But there's a hope that this kind of humanitarian tourism can be a two-way street, offering impoverished villages like this some constructive work and giving the tourists something positive to take home.
It's not just having fun in this trip, it's also about the greatest satisfaction we're getting from actually helping out this community.
They don't speak any language, but they communicate either with games or either with work or words, and make it happen. And then at the end of the 4 days, it's tearful for people to say goodbye.
But once this village takes you into its heart, it's impossible not to help. In the village of Banatok, Nepal, Craig Allen, ABC News.